Hello everybody. Hold on, let me get a little bit darker. Sometimes I set the lighting here just fine, and then the moment I get online it completely changes. Happy 4th of July everybody. I did get a watermelon, not necessarily because it's the 4th of July, but because they were fairly cheap at the store, and I didn't even touch it because with a watermelon for me, and pardon the joke that seems a little bit TMI, but have you ever heard what's the difference between a beer and a pea, or what's the difference between a watermelon and a pea? 5 minutes. So I didn't want to have to disrupt my life just because I ate watermelon. I'm gonna eat watermelon after the live. So again, happy 4th of July everybody. I know that I have initially named this live Independence Day jewelry using Fimo Leather, only that I did so before checking my stash, and unfortunately I do have white, but I don't have red and I don't have blue. So we're gonna still work with a Fimo Leather effect, and I'm going to try and use 3 colors so that you can do it with for patriotic stuff, and I promise I'll do some stuff for Veterans Day, okay, in November, because there's still plenty of time till, and I'll do some stuff ahead of time. So hi Elaine, thank you for being here. Hi Karen, hi Anna. And by the way, if you see a dark spot on my teeth here, it's because that stubborn, I have a veneer on my bridge that just keeps falling, and it looks like no glue on earth is able to keep it in place. The truth is that I eat a lot of peanuts, so that might be yeah. Hi Adelaide. But obviously it's Sunday 4th of July and I didn't manage to get anything done. So let's go ahead and work some Fimo Leather into some stuff that can be done. Hi Darla, hi Cindy. Doesn't Trish have any Fimo Leather white? I know that she was telling me that she has quite a bit of Fimo Leather kits left. Hold on, let me check. But now that I presume she finished moving, so soon she's going to replenish her stuff. She's got rust, and she's got watermelon red, and she's got lagoon, which is more turquoise, and she's got indigo blue. So you can order it from her, and it's on sale really from $377, it's $265, so it's a really good sale. And then she's got kits, a whole bunch of kits for various projects. But let's get back to, yeah, see, I knew that I had, but I guess I used it for various things. I forgot that I did some lives with my sponsors with Fimo Leather. But anyway, and I can show you real quick how to do a really pretty, and you can do it as a pin, you can do it as a earrings. It doesn't really matter, but it's really quick. If you have star cutters, you can use star cutters. If you don't have star cutters, you can use whatever smallish cutters you want. So all you need is some blue, Doesn't matter if it's metallic, if it's, just don't use turquoise or teal, okay? Then use some red, preferably pomegranate. And of course some white. And then you can go in pretty much any order you want, but let's go with the flower. I don't have cutters like this. I just realized I don't have cutters like this in stores. Hi, Jessica, Lane, Skywalker, and Beth. So your best bet would be to go, but you can use any kind of cutters, and you can make them even smaller if you have the Kemper cutters. So what I'm going to do is just plain this. You just get all the clay on the same, obviously. This, and this goes good for our friends from France because they use the same colors. And then the smallest one, we'll go with the blue. And I got a new blade and I forgot to get it out of the package. I told you, for my rigid blades, I personally find, and actually I should go get it just to show you how it is. Hi, Sonia. And then once you do this, so our French friends will just leave it like this, but our American friends, what they can do, if they want to make it even more, actually, hold on, where's my, let me get my eyes. You just cut this one is too thick. Let me get a thinner one. You cut a very, very thin strip of white. Because nobody is going to be close enough to see that these aren't actually stars. Of course, you can cut stars if you want and put them there if you have the tiny Kemper star cutter. I don't have the tiniest of them. I need to order it. I told you I have the habit of getting kits in time. You know, I get one here, I get one here, I get one here. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Randy. Happy 4th of July, everybody. So after you do this, you want to do a little bit of, and there you go. And this you can place, either you make a little hole here and you hang it from a ear wire, or make it a pendant, or you just put a little brooch pin or one of those round pins I showed you, and there you go. It's a very simple, very everything way to do a patriotic. And if you're in another country and you have different colors on your flag, that works for any flag that has at least two colors, because if you have just two colors, you can do just two of these, or you can just repeat the outside color inside, but it works for pretty much any flag. So give me just a second, let me go grab that blade. So this is the blade, and I can tell you something. I bought online stuff that was pretty much advertised as the same thing. You can see it's $6.99, but it lasts for a long time. The ones that I have now, why I needed a new one, because they are pretty much at least a year and a half old, and I've been using them and using them. But the ones that I bought online are not as rigid as this. Let me actually see if I have any of the ones that I got online. So this would be the original. And this is the one I got online. For one, you can see that it does not have the notch here. See? And this is the difference. The one that I got online, as you can see, it's quite flexible compared to the one from Hobby Lobby. It's way more rigid. But the best rigid blade that I have, I got with one of Tiny Pandora's kits. And it's long enough to be used for bracelets and long things. Excuse me. And it's very sharp and super, super, super rigid. I can barely bend it at all. So this goes... And I think that now she has it separate, not in a kit. Let me check, because I think that last time when I looked... Give me just a second and I shall show you. Because she's got a ton of nice stuff. The Mega Blade, there you go. Let's go on the... It's $3 and it's really, really, really good. It's excellent. And it's especially good when you cut clay from a block, you know, or any stuff that is a little bit more difficult to cut. So this is the Amaco one that I like the best. And of course it comes in one of those packages that have to kind of break your hands to open. But it does come with a guard, as you can see, which is really neat when the black... And I'm gonna tell you something, these guards are not so much to not cut yourself, but your best bet, once you're done with the blade and you put it, because I have this little Lazy Susan where I have, you know, I put stuff in, and I got rigid blades on one side and flexible blades on the other. The problem is, and especially with the flexible blades, and I'm going to try and show you, when you put the blades together like that, they get nicked. And then when you cut, let me refocus here. Not zoom, sorry, not zoom, not the zoom. And then when you cut and shave and stuff, I'm trying to find the nick here. It's going to leave a tiny streak on your clay. This might be my newer one. Because of that I have to I don't even know why I keep these ones. See? Right here. See the nicks? Because they are so, especially as I said with the flexible thin ones, because they are so thin, they get easily nicked, and then you get, and it's very unhappy, especially when you do mica shift shaving, because that's going to shift your mica, and it's a very hard to erase streak on your clay. So this is what these guard blades are the best. Happy birthday to your mom, CJ. All right, now why you want, the main reason why you want a good cutting blade with Fimo Leather. I don't know if you've worked with Fimo Leather before or not, but the main problem with Fimo Leather is that the cut on Fimo Leather is going to be quite raggedy because it's got these tiny fibers inside. Whenever you try and cut a piece of it, it's going to get super raggedy. So these, I discovered these two pieces of brown and black at the very last moment, so. But I'm gonna be very honest, I didn't prepare a lot of stuff today because yesterday me and my best friend Jeannie, before the pandemic, we used to go every Saturday out and we'd have lunch, and then we'd do maybe a little bit of shopping or maybe even go a little bit to the park. But because of the pandemic, we haven't been anywhere for well over a year until we both got our vaccine. So this would be the, I forgot, the second or the third time we go after that, because she had to go on a business trip. She's still working, and then a couple times I didn't feel good. No, I didn't feel good one time and she didn't feel good another time. But yesterday it was the very first time that we went to a sit-down restaurant. It's called Feast, and it's a buffet. And it's one of the best buffets I've been to in the United States of America. Well, I've only been to practically to 3 states, so that's the extent of my knowledge. But it's really good. So we went there, and then we also stopped in 3 different stores, one of them being Hobby Lobby, where I met, I know that people who follow me on Facebook have seen I met, but I'll show you with the screen thing. I met the most precious blonde little girl. There she goes. It was a golden retriever, but the blonde kind, not the redhead kind. And she was just something else. And such a happy little thing. And then the other thing that I cracked up when I went to grocery shopping, look at this. Now we have vegetarian fed hens. And for some reason, that's supposed to make you feel good about the eggs you buy, because I don't know, I turned 60 in March, and all my life I've known that if hens go outside and they eat, besides grass and grains, whatever they are fed, they also eat bugs, which are not vegetarian. The eggs are way better quality and they are tastier and all that. So I don't know, for these people, why do they think that vegetarian fed hens? But I guess not everybody knows the thing about the eggs and the bugs and the... But see where political correctness got us. So vegetarian fed hens. That's also a matter of. And you know, I mean, I've been to the countryside when I was a child. My grandma had a very nice house with a beautiful English style cottage garden style garden that was like about an acre and a half, and she was raising chicken for the eggs. And after they retired, my parents got a countryside house, and Dad was raising chicken and ducks and geese. So one thing I know, that from time to time you're supposed to give them protein, and if you don't have bugs and stuff, especially in winter, you would get, and especially the chicken need to get, the baby chicks, they need boiled eggs and like ricotta cheese. And on the regular chicken you need to give them boiled eggs sometime because they need the protein. I mean, vegetarian fed hens. That's mind-blowing, mind-boggling, more like it. Okay. Now, you can do these with any kind of stamps you have, but if you look in my Amazon influencer store, in the stamps area, and these are good to work not just with the Fimo Leather, but also if you have tried PolyClay, because you can make a very good leather imitation with PolyClay. Give me just a second. And this company is actually a leather works company, and it's based here in Oklahoma City, and they make stuff for leather work, including stuff for making saddles and things, and a lot of leather embossing and embroidery and stamping and all kinds of stuff. Let me grab the stamps. So in the stamps section of my Amazon influencer store, if you go all the way to the bottom, you will see all these. So they have these metal stamps for leather, and as you can see, they are pretty neat. But they also have there's a kind of like stencil that's used with leather to just put a design on the leather, and then you can come with a, I forgot how it's called. It almost looks like a screwdriver, like a flat screwdriver, but it's these. And excuse me, as I said, you don't have to use these, but you can use any kind of stamp. But let's get back on this. So the way that these work, I'm gonna get one real quick, but after that we will work with one of them just to show you how to. So as you can see, they are like this, but they have a texture with this exact. Only that when you apply that on the clay, it will go about as deep as regular chiseling. I don't know how, as I said, I don't know how to call that. Works on the leather itself. So hi Sarah, and I said we'll work something with that. But once again, you can work with any kind of stamp. My recommendation would be that you choose a stamp that's not very crowded, and that has the lines fairly fine. But you have to be a little bit careful about that, because most stamps, because they are created to be stamps and they are created to grab ink and keep it, the lines are not very fine. It's not super easy to find the fine line stamp, but you can still find them. And see, that's the main thing that you need to think about whenever you're talking about what kind of texture you use on polymer clay. Absolutely, you can use stamps, but what you have to think that with the stamps, the lines go in when you apply, because when you look at the stamp, the lines are out. So when you apply it on the clay, the lines will go in. While with a texture made specifically for polymer clay, the lines on the texture go in, so when you apply it on the polymer clay, they would come out. This is why the oldest models of textures for polymer clay, they couldn't really be defined as textures, but more as stamps, because the way they work on the polymer clay, they leave lines inside, they do not leave lines outside. And that is one of the reasons why I prefer to work with the cool tool ones, even if they are a bit more expensive than and actually they are not, it's just that they are the same price, sometimes even cheaper, but they have those huge mega tiles that are awesome for bracelets, and of course if they are so big they are going to be more expensive. But they are 4x2, we usually run like $6.50, and they are very good quality. Okay, let me get these through. Okay, one thing about the Fimo leather when you condition it, if it's a little bit older, like this one, it was opened and left in a package longer than the black, it's going to take me just about a minute to condition it, but you'll notice these little lighter things still showing, and it will be very raggedy. That is because the little fibers come out and they are not as saturated with the plasticizers as the other ones. So your best bet, let me see if I fixed the machine. Yes, I did. Your best bet is to go on a thinner, of course you do that gradually until you get to a very thin setting. Okay, why is my hold on. Oh, it is. Got me scared. I have my goodness gracious, there's a gnat in the house. I have my you know, the broadcasting program minimized so I can see what I'm doing, because I explained to you there's a little delay between what I'm doing and what you see and what you're writing and when I see it. And I did that so that people don't have to wait for buffer. And my microphone was under, and I was like, okay, I don't see the thing moving. I had to maximize it and see that the microphone was working. And see, this is what happens. But it's going to make them go in much, conditioned in much easier. Actually, this one is dried enough that it might need a little bit of clay softener. If it's not too dry, it will just go right in. You wouldn't have an issue with it. Even more. This thing was dry. Okay. I'm sorry. I guess this was probably was one of the first Fimo leathers that I ever opened, and that's over a year. This one is definitely not, because I can feel it soft and nice. Thicker. Let's grab the black. Okay, now the thing is that this one does need to go just a pinch thinner. Oops, sorry. Oh, and you didn't know why it was like that? You know what? I think I want to go the other way. I think I want to go with the fringes black. I think it would look much better. Duh. Okay, now for the first one, I'm going to actually go not with the thickest setting, but with like a 3. Let's see. Okay, so let's give it a whatever. Let me see, I have it. the Celtic thing and I have a Tree of Life thing. Let's do the Celtic thing first. Now this normally has a handle on it, but I didn't put any handle on it. Alright. Duh. There we go. I did put this metal one right here. So my main thing here is that I want to cut about the same size. So hold on a second. Sorry, I need to look from exactly above it. There we go. So cut this. And again, remember that it's not, it doesn't really cut properly. So what you want to do before removing your cutter, you might want to go, because it's much easier when the cutter is there than after you remove the cutter. Go with your X-Acto knife all around the cutter on whatever shape it was. And I know it looks a little clumsy, but remember, I have to keep the whole thing under the camera without really moving it. So I think we are good now. So this would be one of the things. Before anything else, I'm going to cut a second one. Remember, one of the things that Fimo leather is, yes, I am a Pisces. Fimo leather has, you cannot rebake it. So be very careful to plan your whole project ahead of time in such a way that you can place all the pieces at the same time. Okay, so my next thing, and again, here comes a matter of cutting. So I'm going to cut, and you'll see that you will have left on your blade these itty bitty fibers. So after each cut, do this and then place them here. So should be about this much. Alrighty. So I'm just cutting some lines, trying to get them even, the same size if possible. And it doesn't have to be exactly as wide as the other thing. Okay, let's get this out of the way. And what I'm going to do is, first and foremost, I'm going to first do a cut like this. Approximately. It's better to do it with a square cutter that has sharp, not rounded edge. Alright, then I'm going to place, not the one with the thing on it, the other one. I'm going to place it here, press a little bit, and then use my X-Acto knife there we go. Now, before I go to the next step, let me get this out. So now I'm gonna have fringes here, and you don't really have to separate them right now. You can separate them after baking. I have no idea what this is. I have a ton of little fibers here. Let's work a little bit the front of it. So this would be an earring, and you can make it larger if you want for a pendant, but on the earring, let's give it a little bit of, and I'm going to, yeah, it kind of burns out. If you look on the Fimo websites, it says that. Okay, now you can use, if you have the pan pastels that are non-metallic, they don't have any kind of mica. If not, you can use the chalk pastels for this. So grab a little bit of wax paper, and I'm going to use a tone of brown. Actually, I'm going to use a very dark brown first. Don't need a lot of it. And this one has mica in it. I didn't clean it. Oh, very good. This one doesn't. These are all cosmetic brushes. I like to get the full kits at the cheaper stores, because you can buy them cheap, even if most of them, of course, they are not that good of a quality, and you cannot use them for too long. But when you get like 12 or more in one set, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, now I'm going to grab some tape here and remove some of it. Because what you want, you just want to give it the look of leather, right? And with stamped leather, what happens is that leather is initially tanned a certain color, but then as it gets rubbed on, as it's being used, that color comes off, so whatever is raised is going to be discolored. Okay, now I'm going to get just a bit of this brick color, just a little bit of it, to give it a more leathery appearance. But I wanted that dark brown first, because it kind of brings better the design. Hi Jots Designs. And yeah, somebody asked me one time, where do you find your scotch tape so cheap that you can afford to use so much? Why don't you use a cheaper tape? Because with the cheaper tape I use more than with the scotch tape, and two, if you buy the scotch shipping tape in packs of 6 or more, it goes really low. The Franco Garcia artisan powders work beautiful on this, only that I didn't want to bring them in the live, because you know that generally in the live I don't want to rely on more expensive stuff, and considering that the chalk pastels are pretty much under $10 for a whole bunch of colors. Just remember, when you buy chalk pastels, buy the soft ones, don't buy the hard ones. The hard ones barely color any clay. Okay, so now I'm going to just grab this and now remember, it has to look like leather, not like clay or metal or whatever. And after you bake it, you can still cut. If these things are not perfectly cut, you can cut them, and it's better to cut them after you bake them. Of course, one thing that you can do here, if you don't want all this to show up, the easiest thing to do is, let me see if I have any left over here, which I might not. Yes, I do have. Well, it's not really. No, that's not. Just a second. Grab a little bit of silver that you can afterwards put either acrylic or wax or whatever on, and make believe that you got some silver there holding this together. But we're going to make something that looks exactly like leather. And by the way, if you want it to look very much like leather, your best bet is to use some Renaissance wax on it, because it's going to look much better. Yes, I know, a lot of times I'm using my fingernails instead of the blade. That's my habit and I'm sticking to it. So there you go. These are very nice leather-like earrings. You can make it larger, but you don't have to do this specific Celtic thing. You can use whatchamacallit, any kind of stamp, and you can make them different shapes. You don't have to make it this shape. You can make a flower, you can make a square, you can make another square going like this, or you can make a square going like this with this going like this, or a square like this with this continuing the pattern. So yes, the of the Franco Garcia, hold on, let me get to it, and I'll tell you exactly what works the best, because I worked with it. Give me just a second to get it. Powders. I'm gonna use the PolyClay play because it's the best. Artisan powders. So if you go with the white or the ivory, you can use any of these, because depending on what you're trying to do, and don't use a lot, but it makes beautiful stuff, especially if you're using flower stamps and stuff like that. The Charlotte blush is fabulous, and the French amber, if you're using any kind of leafy stuff, is beautiful. Then for the brown, because you have the, hold on, let me go back with the clay. So if you're working, so what I was saying goes good on ivory and on white. If you're working with an ochre or a saffron, then the taupe works beautiful. Even the Paris rose works good. Vintage ivory, honestly, I can tell you something. I use vintage ivory on white, and I'll show you here in a second. I'll grab it and show you, and it worked beautifully. But I wouldn't use black. I wouldn't use black at all. You can use the Partenay, or you can use the Chapelier for browns and beiges. And obviously you can use the Trianon. I don't think she has the Trianon anymore. Oh yeah, there it is. The Trianon Patina works great on the blues, on the lagoon and stuff. I wouldn't use the French blue. It's a little bit too rough. You can mix though the Trianon Patina with the French sage, and it would work fine. But just to show you how the whole thing works. Yeah, remember that the artisan Franco Garcia artisan powders, it is true they are a little bit more expensive than others, because they are like $8 a container, but that container has a lot of powder. Okay, number one. Number two, that powder sticks even to resin. I mean, it was made especially for home decorations, and you know how Prima Marketing has a lot of these. Give me just a second. These molds that are for home decoration, if you want to remodel a cabinet or something, right? And most of them are made to be used with the Alumilite, the 5 minutes white resin. And the Franco Garcia powders, they are made to stick even to that resin. So not to talk about the fact that it sticks to clay even if it is already baked. It sticks to paper, it sticks to wood. And the Franco Garcia powders, they don't need to be sealed in any way. so they will not come off. But let me go ahead and grab what do I want to use? Let me use this, but and I'm using this just so that you can see the effect. I'm going to use the Tree of Life thingy, and let me go grab the Ivory. Okay, better. Take it out. And by the way, another thing that you can use with great success on the Fimo Leather are the also the Primo Marketing, the Art Alchemy waxes that work fabulous. Because you know there's a lot of leather that's got all kinds of colorful waxes applied to it, and it works beautiful. Okay, so let me see which is the I'm going to just go on a piece of it so I don't mess it up, all of it. Alrighty, so the Tree of Life. And I told you, whenever I want to buy all the colors in a specific series, I just go every month and I get something every month. Okay, now. Let me grab another. You'll just have to keep going with it until you get all the nooks and crannies covered, filled, that is. I think this paintbrush is a little bit too hard. The whole trick is to manage to get it deep enough. Do the other lighter colors work? Yes, they definitely do, but I think personally that the Ivory works the best. Okay, let's call it enough. And give it just one little tape. The effect is not super flashy, but it still gives it a good leather look. And I'm going to get it closer to the camera so you can see better. Change the focus. See? It still looks like leather, but the whole it brings out the whole stamp, makes it look beautiful. Alrighty. So, as I said, this whole idea with the fringes, it works with all kinds of things. And I know I've shown before how to do little leaves and stuff, but I do intend to do some leather things, faux leather things, both with the Fimo Leather and with PolyClay. Yeah, the wax seal stamps work great because these can be used for both. And I do have another thing that I got from them. In just a minute to grab it. That I absolutely loved it, and I'll get it on so you can see it. They have these things for borders that look like little rings. But what you need to use something. I normally use paintbrush handles, and because it's metal, it leaves a beautiful. Let me actually do it on brown because it's much easier to notice. See? Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. You can use this. Yes. I mean, Dandy Leather also sells on Amazon, but they have their own website. I honestly did not buy my my stuff from Amazon. I got it directly from their website because, hello, they are in Oklahoma City. But they don't have as much on Amazon as they have in their own store. So let's get back to the display so I can show you. So these are called, and then you can find leather and strips. When I was doing jewelry and I was going to fairs and stuff and venues to sell, I would always buy from them because they always have in the store little leftovers and stuff. Okay, so I think that they are here. Oh no, they are in the books and patterns, but they have all kinds of these metal stamps, and they are not that expensive. I mean, depends on the size and depends on how deep it is. But hold on, those big designs I showed you, they are called craft aids because, as I said, they are supposed to just leave on the leather the design, and then you come with a tool and you deepen it in the leather, but it's deep enough for polymer clay. And these ones, you can see, they are not that expensive. I mean, they are $8 and they are big. I mean, they are like a printing paper size, and they are fabulous. So anyway, yes, they are great, and you can use them not just what I noticed, because they are relatively big. I mean, you have to think that they are made special for leather objects, for belts and for saddles and for bags and stuff like that. But the whole idea is that you can use them beautifully for like boxes, for light switches, for example, for photo frames and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, alrighty. I don't know what we're gonna do next Sunday. I'll have to see, but for now I'm going to go lay down again. My back started hurting. We are supposed to have some sun today and tomorrow, so I'm going to try and go out and mow some lawn because it's going to rain again after tomorrow evening. At least that's what I think. Last time I looked. Let's see. No, it's not gonna rain till Wednesday. So yeah, I have 2 days and a half, but I need to mow the front lawn, the doggy run, and the backyard. So it's a lot. I need to get rested for that. Okay, thank you so much. Don't forget to thumbs up, and if you just found my channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to put out at least one tutorial a week, and I have every Sunday at 12:30 Central Time. I have lives. Darla, I actually did a review on the Fimo Leather. Let me try and link it to you. Okay. Let me find the public one. Okay, so there would be this one. No, not this one, sorry. This one. Then I know I did do an unboxing. But in the first one, in that live, I did tell quite a bit of tips, and everything else is just sponsor. So okay, so I shall see you all next Sunday. I don't know if the tutorial I'm going to post this coming week is going to be a premiere or not, but if it's going to be a premiere, I'll be there with you watching. Okay, have a great 4th of July and a good barbecue and a good watermelon. I'm going to eat mine now. Okay. Bye.